You walk into a supplement store and the paralysis hits instantly. Hundreds of identical tubs, screaming different marketing claims, promising the exact same results. Let's clear the air. Protein powder is not magic. It is simply a logistical tool. To build muscle efficiently, your body requires a steady supply of high-quality protein, usually around 0.7 to 1.0 grams per pound of body weight every day. A powder is just an easy way to bridge the gap between the food you eat and that daily target. You also don't need to stress over the anabolic window. The idea that you lose your gains if you don't chug a shake 5 minutes after your last rep is a myth. Total daily intake matters far more than precise post-workout timing. Once you strip away the branding and the timing myths, the entire market comes down to one central trade-off: price versus processing. This matrix plots how that trade-off works. We have cost and processing on the horizontal axis and protein purity on the vertical axis. Depending on where they land, your 4 main options, whey concentrate, whey isolate, hydrolyzed whey, and plant-based, will drop into these quadrants. Grabbing a tub at random has real consequences. Choose wrong, and you might burn cash on advanced filtration your body doesn't actually utilize. Or worse, buy a cheap blend that causes severe gastrointestinal distress and completely derails your routine. Let's start with the baseline input for dairy supplements, whey protein concentrate, or WPC. This is a less processed byproduct of cheese manufacturing, and it typically yields between 70 to 85% pure protein per scoop. The trade-off with WPC is straightforward. It is highly cost-effective, making it great for budget-conscious lifters. But because it skips the heavier processing, it retains fats, carbohydrates, and lactose. If you have a sensitive stomach, that residual lactose will cause bloating. If you need to avoid that bloating, you move up the processing ladder to whey protein isolate and hydrolyzed whey. These powders undergo a complex refinement step known as ultrafiltration. This table compares the quality shift. Concentrate has low cost but high lactose. Apply ultrafiltration to create whey isolate, and cost jumps, but lactose, fat, and carbs are stripped away. But looking at the graph, isolate's cost spikes aggressively while the muscle growth advantage flattens out. You hit severe diminishing financial returns. Paying double for premium dairy processing is really only biologically justified if your digestive tract absolutely cannot handle lactose, or if your macro tracking for a bodybuilding competition is elite. For strict vegans or those who want to avoid dairy entirely, plant-based proteins have closed the performance gap. The primary biological hurdle for plant protein is a specific essential amino acid, leucine. Single-source plant proteins naturally fall short on it. Leucine acts as the biological starting gun for muscle protein synthesis. Without a sufficient spike of it in your blood after a shake, your body won't kick off the muscle-building process efficiently. As this chart shows, individual plants like pea or rice have incomplete amino acid profiles on their own, but when formulators blend them together, their profiles lock together perfectly to match the muscle-building efficacy and leucine content of dairy whey. However, plant-based powders introduce an entirely different variable, the contamination factor. Because plants grow directly in the earth, they absorb minerals straight from the soil. Independent lab testing consistently shows that this soil-to-plant transfer results in plant-based protein powders carrying higher trace levels of heavy metals like lead and cadmium compared to dairy-based alternatives. Swapping out dairy allows for ethical alignment and guarantees zero lactose. The rigid trade-off is that you must be diligent. If you choose plant-based, you have to verify the brand publishes independent third-party heavy metal test results. We can translate all of these technical trade-offs into a straightforward decision. You just need to identify your profile based on your wallet, your gut, and your goals. This flowchart breaks down the options. If you are a budget optimizer, meaning you tolerate dairy fine and just need a cheap way to hit your daily macro target, you follow this path. Your endpoint is whey concentrate. It carries a few extra calories from the fats and carbs, but it delivers massive financial savings for the exact same muscle-building results. Next, we have the macro perfectionist or the lactose-sensitive lifter. If you suffer from severe bloating or strictly cutting weight, you take the second branch. You pay the premium for whey isolate. You accept the higher cost in exchange for perfect digestion and mathematically pure protein. Finally, if you are the ethical or plant-based athlete, you follow the third path. You skip dairy, Select a complementary pea and rice blend to ensure your leucine needs are met, and accept the responsibility of verifying heavy metal lab data. There is no objective best protein powder on the shelf. There's only the precisely calibrated powder for your specific digestive, financial, and ethical profile. Ultimately, whatever tub you buy, you cannot supplement your way out of a bad diet. Optimizing the filtration of a single scoop of powder has a minor biological impact compared to the massive compounding effects of hitting your total daily protein intake and maintaining a consistent training routine. If you want to know if your routine is working, use objective tools like DEXA scans to measure changes in your body composition over time. Track your physical baseline, rather than obsessing over the marketing on a supplement label. Finding the right powder simply removes friction from your diet. The real muscle growth comes from doing the hard work and eating enough whole food to recover from it.